What's going on? This is Yancy, author and producer of the This Is Why series. Make sure you go now and subscribe to my website, www.newfacemanagement.org. This is why you go to college.
Face Entertainment.
New Face Family. New Face Family.
This is why you go to college.
New Face Entertainment.
New Face Entertainment.
This is why you go to college.
New Face Entertainment.
This is why you go to college.
This is why you go to college.
And this is why you go to college.
What's up, everybody? Chris Queen. Living in, wait, you want to say where I'm living? Or
everything, yeah.
Originally from Baltimore, Maryland, now living in Jacksonville. Running my own consulting company right now. Out here talking to Yancy merchant. Found a new face.
Alright, so when did you get to Hampton? When did you graduate?
I got to Hampton in 2003, graduated in 2007.
Alright, so what made you decide to go to Hampton? How did that whole event transpire?
So every time somebody asks me, I always keep it real. I did not know where I was going to school. I actually didn't have college on the radar. I just knew it was something I was supposed to be doing. So my buddy, he invited me on a college tour, and I went to Hampton with him. And he was like, "Man, I'm going here," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go here too." And honestly, when we got there, it was just live. Like they were having like a party outside the student center at the time. People were out there. Everyone was friendly. The girls was friendly, and I was like, "All right, this is where we're going." So that's how I ended up at Hampton originally.
So that was like your senior year, so that was like the spring 2003?
Yes, spring
okay.
2003, call it high school day. I think it was when we actually came down.
That was a great year. That was like a week or two after I crossed, Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in Hampton for 2003, so you're a part of that era of your freshman year, Hurricane Isabel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what happened with Hurricane Isabel for you? What did you do?
So for me, because I'm from Maryland originally, I brought my car, even though I wasn't supposed to as a freshman. I was rebellious. I parked it across the bridge. So I had my car, and I had some good friends who actually wound up leaving with me, and some of them were from Atlanta and couldn't get home because they couldn't get a flight out of Norfolk. So rode with me back home to Maryland, dropped them off at BWI Airport, and they flew home, and I went home during that time. So I was not in Hampton during that.
Right. Okay. So you missed the.
Yeah, I missed the.
I heard the
stories.
area of the face. So now we get to Hampton. It's your freshman year. What is your freshman year like now? After high school days, and now you're there as a freshman. What's that like?
So freshman year, I was really just kind of trying to figure out what my circle was. Honestly, I wound up hanging out with a lot of the people that were living in my dorm, like my dorm roommates and people that were nearby. We wound up going to a couple parties. Some of them weren't really my circle, so I was kind of trying to figure it out, honestly.
Right.
I was meeting some of the people that were in my major, didn't hang out with them too much, so I was just trying to figure out where I wanted to be. But I know it was kind of a recurring theme while I was in school, and I was seeing a lot of the alphas were throwing a lot of events. It was just everywhere at the time I looked, alphas were doing something. I didn't know that at the time because I didn't know anything about Greek at the time, but that's hindsight. It was always some alphas doing it, and Yancy was one of the main people doing it through, with the organization and with New Face, the organization that you had. So.
Cool. All right. So how'd you get associated with New Face? How'd that come about?
So originally, I think I wound up filming the Alpha Cab of my freshman year. I had a friend who was going to be a contestant in the pageant. She knew I had a camera, so she asked me to film, and I did. And then, trying to do something nice for her, I made it into a DVD. And she actually showed, I guess, the brothers at the time. You saw it.
Okay.
You reached out to me and was like, "Hey, man, can you make more of these?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can make more." And I wound up making more DVDs. And then I think you kind of saw the raw talent that I had, because I had no intentions of doing anything like that. He was like, "Well, I have an organization. You got a camera, why don't you come to our events? This is what we do, X, Y, and Z, and you can film and take pictures of events, and we can kind of help publicize it." Which I was like, "Okay, that's cool with me. I can come to some parties, I can do some work, and not have to pay So it was a win-win for me, honestly. It was no brainer. That's kind of how I came into New Face.
All right. So now you're doing things on a smaller level of what ended up being a part of your career, right? So
Somewhat.
on a very small level.
On a small level.
You know what I'm saying? Just starting the little nuances. So then you're a part of New Face now. You have your paparazzi crew.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk about your little paparazzi crew.
So I saw a definite need for like more of just one person with a camera, because there's so much going on with the parties and everything that was going on. So I was like, okay, if I can bring on some people that can also hold a camera, and I taught them a little bit about how to use it, then we can capture a lot more of trying to have just one person capture all this that's going on. So invited my friend Carl and Jason. They were like, sure, what do we need to do? We actually didn't have more than one camera at the time, and what we did, I don't think you knew this, but I knew some people who had cameras, and they would lend us the camera. So we had borrowed cameras, and we were taking pictures, and and then taking that film back from it and putting it onto a computer, and then giving the cameras back. And there was some art majors and some graphics majors who had like some really nice cameras, so we were able to capture really good moments with some equipment that we didn't own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the type of stuff you got to keep in mind, because you guys made it work. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't realize there's certain things about New Face that was being done. You know what I'm saying? And this is before people all had cell phone cameras. You know what I'm saying? Before social media. This is like we just doing things that we want to do, but trying to figure out how to do it. We're trying to document it.
Right.
So looking back at that now, actually let's go forward. So then from there, let's get into like the whole websites and working on those type of things, and Facebook and all that, because you played a big role in that.
So yeah, I definitely remember like Facebook was actually introduced me by my friend who actually took me to the high school day, who wound up going to Morehouse, and they had Facebook, and Hampton didn't have Facebook. But I remember he introduced it to me, and I was so actually infatuated with it that I actually reached out to Facebook to get them to add Hampton, because back then you had to have a college email to get onto Facebook, and Hampton wasn't one of them. So I actually went into what was Pipeline, I think we had at school, Blackboard. And there was, at the time, there was a way to mass email everybody from your class, and I sent out a mass email asking everyone to fill out the survey for Facebook, and I assume everyone did it, because literally like that next week we had Facebook. So that started Facebook for Hampton, and then we were able to start to use it to like leverage the pictures and stuff that we were taking to put them on the Facebook. And it was a very tedious task, because you only could upload one picture at a time. You couldn't do mass uploads.
It's old Facebook.
Old Facebook. You couldn't tag people initially. Then you could, and we took the time to figure out who everyone was, because we didn't know everyone. And we literally would say, okay, she hangs with her or he hangs with him. I know him. Let me see other friends that they have, and we would find everyone and literally tag them, so that way everyone got tagged in the picture. And that was kind of like our goals, like as a team, for paparazzi.
And then we moved on. Then we actually had the website for New Face. So now we're going into like 2006, right around that time period, 2005, 2006. I graduated 2005. So let's talk about that experience, because now we're really getting into your major. We're getting into things that are part of what you're trying to do in your career.
Right. So with the website, that was an awesome task. I didn't have like web development background at that time. We were still learning it as part of our major. So definitely having that project and something that was going to have some fandom behind it was awesome platform to kind of stand on. Doing the website, adding features that were still new at the time, new technology, using Flash to like show animated pictures was awesome. So that was a fun time.
All right, so to have that type of experience, what is that like to have that type of hands-on experience that you're actually learning in the classroom, and then right after that you're actually applying it, whereas other students don't have that. So what was that like for you?
It was like having, I would compare it to like an internship, because we did it for for free, but it was it had some benefits. But being able to have real world experience doing it, kind of just made it easy to segue into working life when or for personal life when you're doing it for yourself. I don't know. I don't think I would have gone anywhere else and have that, because I mean, even in the classes, it was more like textbook. And it was like they show you exactly what they're doing, and they would do. You just mimicked it. It wasn't creative.
Right.
And with New Face, it was more creative. So,
right.
And that's what people want, because they have a vision in their head, and you can make it now, from your experiences.
Right. Were you able to use New Face as an internship or reference?
I did.
Resumes or anything?
I definitely put it on my resume.
Let's talk about that.
So for my internships, that was one of the things I put on my resume for things that I did in college life. Photography, party promotion, and I would like to think that it helped.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely a resume builder, because it shows that you not only are academic, but you're doing something with your academics, or you're doing something while learning and growing your academics. So.
Okay. So you talked about you meeting me. So let's just talk about I guess what you thought about impressions of me, and then over time, as far as like how you looked at me, as looked at Yancy.
Right.
I use the word Yancy, but
okay. So I just knew I saw your face a lot on campus. You were just everywhere. We say?
Act as if like I'm not here. You're talking directly.
I got you.
So that's if I'm in the spot. Yeah.
So Yancy was someone that I saw on campus all the time. So I recognized his face, and then when I got a chance to meet him and he brought me into his group, you could just tell he had a vision, and he was about his business, because everything was just like, okay, this is what we need to do. He knew how to like utilize the resources and figure out how to get it done. If he didn't know how to get it done, he knew like where to go. And I just saw that as like something I wanted to be around, honestly. So that way, because I was learning, I was young, then, and just learning how to maneuver in around black people, because honestly, my school I grew up in, my high school was predominantly white, and it was kind of, I won't say it's segregated, but it was it was cliquish, to say the least. And so just learning how to operate around how my people operate in a professional and educated environment was awesome for me to learn and see how to do.
Give a description of what you do now and your business, and basically promote yourself.
Okay. So what I do now is web development and software development with a high focus on project management. I generally will consult with businesses and individuals, entrepreneurs who have an idea, something software related, and don't know exactly how to get there. And utilizing my experience and my expertise, I can help guide them down the path, whether I'm implementing it myself or just kind of helping them map that out to get to that end result of whatever their IT needs are. It's what I've been focusing on and doing for the past 3 years now through my company, Curse Queen Consulting.
And now let's talk about the reasons why you decided to become a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Gamma Iota chapter, and how that all transpired and what happened as a result.
So, like I mentioned before, on campus, a lot of the events that were going on, and it wasn't just parties. Like there was actually things I remember in the dorms where like the alphas came and had like sit-down meetings with the young males there in the dorm, and kind of giving them like advice and how to like operate on campus. So seeing that and just having that reoccurring like presence made me curious to like, okay, well, what is it about them? Like I said, I didn't have any fraternity background in my family history, and I just saw like there was this bond between them, and I just really wanted to know what that was about, and I was willing to pursue it to figure out what it was. So that kind of was what enlightened me to pursue that. And then also as I started to do research about them, and just like everything was already aligned with my internal values and how I carried myself, just making sure that you're on top of everything that you do, trying to be the best at whatever it is that you're trying to do, trying to make sure that you are academically strong. All the alphas were excelling in all of their classes, and they were in major leadership roles on campus, and that was just something I just naturally gravitated to.
All right, so you became a brother of the Gamma Iota chapter, 2007.
2007.
All right, so what is it like now as an alumni brother, as far as like what you see the benefits of being a fraternity brother as a alumni?
So the number one, I guess, benefit would be just the network. I literally can go into any state and almost anywhere, and I know that I have a brother there that will give me a place to rest, feed me, and I do the same thing. It's like it's not just one-sided, I would say that's the number one benefit, and also knowing that that network is strong with intelligent professionals in there. It's not just someone it's like someone that's doing something in their area that I can tap into at any time, and vice versa. So people will call me and say, hey, I have an idea, or I have something IT related, and they know to come to me, and vice versa. If I have questions about anything in life, I can go to one of my brothers in the network about it.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other things too that people may not understand or know about. The New Face dinners. Okay. So you were a frequent customer. So
I was.
So let's talk about New Face dinners and what it meant for you.
New Face dinner was like Thanksgiving I think it was weekly, right?
Every Sunday.
It was weekly. That's ridiculous now you think about it in hindsight. It's like Thanksgiving with your family weekly while in college. Mm-hmm. Like you're not getting that. Like someone cooking, I will give where it's due. Like Yancy was throwing down, and we were eating it, and we were like, fraternizing with each other, being a family and talking to each other, and it wasn't work related either. Like we weren't really talking about New Face things there. Like we might have mentioned it, but it wasn't really like a setting where it was like business. It was just like, okay, like let's enjoy each other, let's relax, let's talk to each other, and like that was just, I don't know, it's one of those things you kind of take for granted at the time, but it definitely was a bonding experience with those.
Right. Were you a leader of a street team?
I wouldn't say we was a leader of a street team. We definitely handed out flyers.
Yeah.
And it was literally, me, Carl, and Jason, and we kind of hit the male dorms.
Yeah, I think the year that you would have been running a street team, you was online.
Okay.
So I didn't.
Yeah.
I knew not.
But
to
we still handed out
you.
flyers.
Right.
Like we hit every dorm, and we hit every door in the dorm. I remember that, and we got so good where we didn't have to even we could just chuck the flyer, and it was just seriously like Gambit, like we were throwing flyers, and they would go right where we needed to go. We didn't waste no time handing out flyers.
Let's talk about the Mardi Gras, because I got footage of you at the Mardi Gras going outside and interviewing people. So let's just talk about that and what it was like for you from your perspective, because I think the footage just picks up and you're just outside with talking with a mic with no cord.
I found that mic.
Yeah, so
I remember that.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Mardi Gras, it was just like, I don't know, it was just that night, it was just like, okay, let all the weight off your shoulder and just have fun.
Right.
Because, you had school going on, I had so much going on, and that night I was just like, I don't care. And I knew we had camera crew going, and the line was already outside. And I went inside. I think the DJs were setting up. I seen a mic that was laying on there. I was like, okay, Yancy, he's like, go outside and interview everyone. And that's how Yancy just give you the task, and you just figure it out. I'm like, what interview, and what should I ask them, and how? Like, I got to make this more official. So I found a mic that was not attached to anything. So it's funny if you watch the video, and just went outside. I think Joe was filming,
right, and
just started asking questions. Kind of like pre-amping up the crowd who was already like ready to get in. I'm just like, so what do you think is going on inside? Like, y'all ready to get in? How long y'all been out here? How often do y'all come to New Face? Who invited you out here? Just asking random questions, and people were they were happy to be on camera. It was people love to be on camera, and it was just fun for me at the time, and it just kind of carried on the whole night. I think I kept that thing the whole night, just asking questions to people in the crowd. It was pretty funny.
That's funny, yeah. All right, so like I said, we're gonna we just gotta turn the corner a little bit and just talk about a couple different things too for high school students, and to let people know that there's more to college than just going to get a degree. So if you had a high school student in front of you right now and he's thinking about going to college, what I'm saying, like what would you tell that person that's, you know, just thinking about the next step, not necessarily
Right.
going to college, but the next step in life, what would you want to tell that person?
I would tell that person to seriously take time to sit down and figure out what it is you want in game first, and then see if college is the best path to that end game. So if you know you want to do computers, or if you want to be a doctor, like I would look at people who went that path and what they do, and then figure out what steps they took, because college isn't for everyone and it isn't for every career, honestly. So, you know, don't waste your time going to college for something that you could actually go get as a craft or a trade, or, you know, you can do outside of college. And then two, the second thing I would say is find out what scholarships there are for college, period. Just there's so many avenues, church, organizations, just apply. That's one thing I did not do, and I wish I did, because, you know, college is expensive, and you don't want to waste your time going there if it's not something that's going to benefit you in game, and you don't want to pay for something that someone else could help you pay for down that line. So that's the two things I would recommend to someone who's considering college.
All right, and then for anybody that's thinking about dropping out of college, you know what I'm saying? You know, they come to you, Chris, listen, man, I'm a computer science major, you know, but this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? So what would you tell them? You know, either way, you know, to leave or whatever, what would you tell them? They're looking for just for its advice. What would you tell them?
I wouldn't tell them what to do specifically, whether to drop out or not, but I would just say, just, you know, put together a list and weigh the pros and cons. You know, is it something you love? Is it something that you feel you can strengthen yourself in? No one's naturally good at everything. So, you know, if you feel like, okay, you like computers specifically, then, you know, you need to develop that skill. Like every skill can be developed. So I would say that, and, you know, and then weigh the cons. Like, you know, if I drop out, what other options do I have? Do I have no other options?
Right.
If you're already so far down the path, you know, if you're more than 50% down that path, why not? Why stop now? You know, don't give up, because you're probably close to the victory that you're trying to reach anyway. So that it depends on the situation, but I would definitely encourage someone to stay in college if they were in college already, and just maybe find what's a better path for you within the college realm.
All right, bro. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
man.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Appreciate you.
Signing off, man. Boy, Chris Queens, my boy. All right, cool. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let's talk about what we're doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? What your role is
Okay.
with New Face Management right now. Tell me what your role is and what's going on right now. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So right now, I'm helping Yancy with the management and development of newfacemanagement.org. Basically, he is putting together this documentary and wants to have a web home page for the documentary, as well as content where people can come and find other individuals that were part of New Face and strong, you know, professionals to network with. And so he's building that up, and I'm helping him, you know, navigate those IT waters to get that to come to full fruition right now.
And then what do you think? What do you think this documentary is going to do once it's released? What do you think this documentary is going to do for people?
I hope that this documentary will, once people watch it, will give a better understanding of, you know, that, you know, individuals can come together, and together you're stronger at whatever you're trying to do, because that's kind of what New Face was. It was like, it was the vision of Yancy, but he could have tried his best to do it all by himself. There's no way he would do it all by himself.
Absolutely not.
And everyone came together and just kind of rallied behind it, and it became something way probably bigger, honestly, than what you initially thought it was.
Absolutely was. Yeah.
And that's how life is when you work together with your peers. And so I'm hoping that's what the documentary will kind of show, like how the humble beginnings, and, you know, where people are now, and even where people are now is not where they're going to be in the future. So I'm hoping that's what that will show.
Cool. All right, Poski.
Yep.
Thank you, man.